Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vedya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Sanstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Sanstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Sansita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Sanstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. I will be right back. So we begin the 18th chapter this evening. Let's see, who wants to chant tonight?
I can chant.
Thank you.
Bhargavaivam hisa samvid vedyavandhya nirupita upalabdhi upalabdhadishastasya bahudha samshruta nanu. Dattatreya said, Bhargava, thus that consciousness, destitute of knowable objects, has been ascertained. States of attainment of that consciousness in many ways during worldly life have also been heard.
So here we're starting to sum up the teaching in these final chapters. So what he's now describing is that consciousness. Remember in the last chapter, it was called Prakasha, light, the light of pure awareness, the awareness of things minus the things. Again, very simply, Swamiji's spiritual algebra. Mind equals the awareness of thought flow. Take thought flow, move it to the other side of the equation. Mind minus thought flow, and remember, all perception is just thought flow, equals pure awareness. In the end, even with all the samadhis that we've talked about, yourself is the simple awareness of the most ordinary waking state. This is why when people say, oh, I had an experience of the self on ayahuasca, but I lost it. They haven't had it. If you truly get what it is, you can't lose it because it's you. When are you ever not you? Our doubt is that I superimpose on that perfect direct experience all sorts of nonsense. Going on.
Abhyutpatya na jananti jana maya vimohitaha sadasha bhavyate sukshma drishaivanan yathakvachit. Due to lack of acquaintance, people do not know those states, deluded by Maya or the elusive power of God. That state of consciousness, free from knowable objects, is obtained only by one having subtle perception, not otherwise anywhere.
Yes, so we need a subtle mind in order to notice it. A subtle mind. And again, the self may be difficult to realize, not because it's far away or in the heavens, but because of its profound ordinariness. We talked about the importance of having paroksha jnanam, indirect knowledge, so we have understanding from hearing the teacher and reading the scripture, and aparoksha jnana, direct experience. So our knowledge and our understanding come together at the same time. Ideally, that's what we do in class. We get you tuned up, get your mind introverted so you recognize, oh yeah, I'm that witnessing consciousness. There's nothing there. Then we tell you what you're experiencing when you're experiencing it, so that you have the aha. Pratya Vijnana. Going on.
Kim bahukten te Rama shrunusaram pravimyaham manasa vedyate vedyam manaso to na vedyata. Rama, what is the use of many words? I shall tell you the essence. Listen. The knowable object is known by the mind. Therefore, the mind does not have knowability.
So, can you really find a thing called the mind that I can know? Oh, yes, I have a mind. Like I know my hand or my foot or my nose. No. What is mind? We call it mind when awareness illumines thoughts and feelings. They are knowable. But you can't find a thing called the mind. You do not have awareness. You do not possess awareness. You are awareing all the time. And in the end, if everything that awareness illumines is dreamlike, imagination, all that's really left always is just pure awareness. Next one.
Tatha cha vedyanirmuktam manopyastiti sambhavet tanmano vedyanirmukta chitiritya bhidiyate. So also, it would be consistent to say that the mind freed from knowable objects also exists. That mind is called knowledge liberated from knowable objects.
So, in a sense, if we want to call it mind with a big capital M, meaning awareness, mind minus knowable objects is myself. It's never absent. It's never absent. It's you. Next one.
Upalabdhi swarupatva advitiyaiva isasada anyopalabdhya pekshayam andhyam syad anavasthite. On account of its being of the nature of pure perception, that is indeed always known. If there is need for another entity to perceive it, there could be blindness or absence of conclusion due to unsettled condition arising out of an endless series of causes and effects having no finality.
Now, what he's talking about here is, do I need some other instrument to know awareness itself? Oh, I have awareness. What is it that knows awareness? Is there awareness of one that's aware of awareness two? I have not studied Sri Aurobindo's teachings, and I've never been instructed by someone from that tradition. But one of the things he said that I did read is he thought he had reached something other masters had not. He had reached a self beyond the self. Well, I'm just a simple guy who likes Shankara, likes Ramana Maharshi. I keep coming back to, and who knew this self? Nothing can be known without the one knower who doesn't ever change. All things are known in a subject-object relationship, except yourself. The question is, how do you know you are you? You do not see, hear, taste, touch, or smell yourself. You do not emote yourself. You do not think yourself, that you know you are. How do you know it? I don't know, I just know it. And the two phrases the scriptures use are swayambhu, self-evidence, and swayam jyoti. Jyoti means is a light. The self illumines itself. The self is self-evident. The self is its own means of knowledge. It is never, though, known as an object, always as the eternal subject. But no other instrument is necessary. Now listen very carefully. There is a perfect knowledge, a divine knowledge that you can never lose. It also can never be gained. It is always there. And that's the self-evidence of I. Now, the great cosmic joke is everybody already has it. You get nothing new. This Vedanta is cheap. Why should I bother this Vedanta with this Vedanta? But something happens to the mind. Both bondage and liberation occur to the mind. The self is ever free. In a very subtle mind. In those moments between thoughts, those fleeting or momentary samadhis, or even deep ones. When all the objects are removed by withdrawing our attention from them, then when the mind returns, it reflects on that experience of its own absence, meaning thought starts up again. And it's absolutely clear to the mind that there's no such thing as an individual me. It's gone. And that doesn't touch the self either. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Kanchid bhavam hi sampashyan nabhasi kimu bhargava nabhasi chena tvamasi tata prashnastute katham. Bhargava, seeing only some object, do you not yourself shine? If you do not shine or be aware, you do not exist. Therefore, how does your question arise?
Yes. So he's doing the same thing I do so frequently. I'll hold up the book and say, who sees the book? Or hold up the phone and say, who sees the phone? I do. That's yourself. Can you have knowledge of anything without you there to know it? Now, maybe you come across someone who's a shunyavadin, a scoliast of the void. There are schools of Buddhism who say ultimate reality is nothing. There is no ground of being. That's not real either. It's impermanent. And then the Vedantin says, sounds good to me, but tell me, how do you verify the truth of that position? Because if ultimate reality is nothing, who's there to know it? No one can deny that. You can philosophically deny it, but that's like saying the horns of the hare or the child of a barren woman. You can have the words for it, but no one can experience the absence of I. The very saying I don't exist implies that you exist. Let me see if I can give an example. Soundarya, are there pillows on my bed?
Yes.
Oh, you were in there earlier. Let me see if I can get a better one. Are there dirty dishes in the sink?
I don't know.
You don't know? Why don't you know?
Because I haven't seen your sink today.
Yes, you haven't seen my sink today. You get the point. In order to see the presence or absence of something, someone must be there to know it. And you are always there.
Is it like Schrodinger's cat in the box?
Unfortunately, I don't know about Schrodinger's cat. So I can't respond to that. You'll have to talk to a philosopher.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know it well. I don't know it well enough to explain it. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
All right, next verse.
Aho swayam kapushatma. Aho swayam kapushpatma sankatham hiti mattamicchasi katham tvatmanamam sadhyam katham tavatmanamaham sadhayami vibhavaya. Being yourself of the nature of a flower in the sky, that is considering yourself to be unreal like a flower in the sky, how indeed do you desire to know the self? Reflect how I shall accomplish or prove yourself.
So if you are an imagined being, if the self is imagined, as the Shunyavadins say, then how is it that you can have a desire to know yourself? That's imaginary too. The scolious of the void, the shunyavadins, actually tend to devolve into nihilism. Nothing matters, nothing is worth doing. It's all just ashes and meaningless. It's not really a particular school of thought that's too predominant today. It was a big deal 1,000 years ago. And it still, in some ways, exists in some Buddhist traditions. But I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this polemic against the scholiasts of the void. I think it's largely a matter of semantic. The Buddha did teach there is no self. But at the time in which he lived, the word Atman was used very imprecisely. Sometimes it meant the body, frequently it meant the subtle body. On occasion, it meant the supreme self. So in order to resolve that confusion, he just said there's no self. 1,000 years later, at the time of Shankara, 700, 800 years later, the language gets much more precise. We would say the jiva is an illusion. The sense of individuality, the sense that I'm a person, that definitely is impermanent. But we thunder that there's a ground of being. Going on.
Vishesha lesha-rahitam etavadhyeva te vapuh aho janannapi puna alam muhyasi vaivritha. So much alone, without even a little of peculiarity, is your natural state. Alas, though knowing, you're again completely perplexed in vain.
So, I love the language from Gita in the 2nd chapter. He who knows, knows it not. She who knows it not, knows it. It's unfigureoutable in the end. It's beyond speech. Stop the mind. Next verse.
Bhasakam sarvamapi cha vishesha vishayam bhavet atah samanya rupastvam vibhasi swata eva hi. Everything that illuminates would have some characteristic property as its object. Therefore, since your natural state is free from any characteristic feature, you shine with a general or universal nature by yourself alone. Note, knowledge of a pot or a cloth is objective knowledge, One's natural state is free from objective knowledge. It is universal knowledge alone and hence self-luminous.
Yes, very self-explanatory. Again, go to the direct experience. Tune up the mind. Stop the mind. Unknown. And understand that when thoughting happens, it never touches that ground of being. Whoever not you. Whatever happens to the body, whatever state the mind is in, whatever thoughts the intellect has, none of it ever touches, alters, changes you. Next verse.
Sharirādyatmana bhasi ch18 prabravimi te Sharirātmataya bhasi sankalpe naiva nanyatha. If you say that you shine or appear in the form of the body and the like, I shall speak about it. Listen, you shine or appear in the form of the body only on account of sankalpa, resolve, or the synthesizing activity of thought, not otherwise.
Yes. So the body is nothing but the grossified form of thought, of mind. What is the difference between the body of your dream and the body in the waking state? Not much. Both are just sankalpa, imagination. But like the dream state, when I'm dreaming, I think the dream body's real. So also when I'm in the state of ignorance, when the mind projects the body, I take it as me. Next one.
Vibhavaya sukshmadrisha sankalpenyasya dehatah bhati kim tava dehatvam dehastachapi te bhavet. Contemplate with subtle perception. Does your body nature shine when there is the firm thought of an object other than the body? It does not. Even that object should be your body. No, if you consider your body as your natural state only because of the appearance of your connection with it, then when another object is connected with you by your thought process, that object also should be your body.
Yeah. So if the body is mine, it's me because I contemplated, I'm aware of my body. When I contemplate a water glass, why don't I say I'm a water glass? And the point that the scripture wants us to understand, the body itself is not sentient. It doesn't shine with the light of awareness. It is an object. I know all its sensations. I peep through the holes in the body to contact the waking state world. Just like on Halloween, you look through a mask. You are awareness itself. My finger doesn't know my thumb. My nose doesn't know my toes. I know the body, all its functions and sensations and perceptions. Pink. Next one.
Evam sankalpyate yacha shariram tatta devahi tena sarvam ayastvam sya katham dehatmamatrakah. Thus, whatever is firmly thought by you, that very thing alone would be your body. Consequently, you would consist of everything firmly thought of by you. How can you be of the nature of your mere body?
So he sums up, if everything you perceive, if you identify with it the way you do your body, then you think you're a lamp, you think you're a pillow, whatever it is you happen to be perceiving. It's not our experience. It's just an idea where I think I'm the body from long, long habit. It's a sankalpa. That's all it is. Just begin to be open to the idea I'm not the body. And things start to shift. Just be open to the idea. This world is like a dream. It's a big hologram. It is Leela, a play. I am that ground being that's never touched. Next one.
Tasmad drishyam tava vapu nahi syad vayabhicharata. Tasmad drishyam tava vapu nahi syad vayabhicharata. Tasmad dringmataruposi nadrigdrishya kadachana. Therefore, the perceived object cannot be your body on account of deviation of the object from its nature, which changes with every object conceived. Therefore, you're one whose natural state is mere knowledge. Knowledge can never be the known.
Yes. He basically sums up the argument. It's very simple. If I can perceive it, I'm not that. I'm the one who knows it. We start off our simple Drikdrishya Viveka exercise, the basic art of meditation class. It's the third or fourth lesson. Do you see the glass? Yeah. Who sees the glass? I do. You're not a glass. You're the one looking at the glass. Oh, yeah, okay. You hear the traffic? Yeah. Who hears the traffic? I do. You're not the traffic. You're the one who hears the traffic. Can you smell the incense? Yeah. You're not the incense. You're the one who smells the incense. Okay, I get it. Now let's go to the body itself. When you were a child, you had a little body. You knew the little body. The body grew up. You see the changes in the body. Who knows those changes? If you feel fat today, you're still suffering from post-holidays. Who knows that the body is fat? If you've lost weight, oh, I'm getting so slim. Who knows that the body is slim? Maybe you have a pain in a joint or something. Who knows the pain? Maybe you didn't have dinner and you're hungry. Who knows the hunger? I do. The body is always an object of perception. Going on, next one.
Sa swaprabha prishyarupa vishesha lesha varjita deha desha kala bheda chitra vaichitya chitrita. That knowledge is its own light or self-luminous and is destitute of even a little of characteristic difference of the nature of perceived objects. Being the substratum of all, it is painted with a variety of pictures, constituting the differences in the bodies, places, and time.
Yes. So that light of pure awareness is self-evident, self-luminous, self-existent. It is never tainted in any way, has no quality, no characteristic. I don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, I feel very good. My self was pink today. Oh, Jim, I realized the self, it's a little gray ball with wings. I saw it. You take ecstasy. Oh, I'm merging with everything. Really? And to whom did this experience occur? To me. As ecstatic as that was, you knew it. It came and it went. It had qualities and characteristics. It was subject to change. It was an object of awareness. That's not it. Neti. Oh, Jim, when I come to class, I get so high. I'm glad you do. That's not it. You are it. Next one.
Tasmat sankalpamatrasya parjanat paratassthitam shesham shuddha chitte rupam te shesham shuddhachite rupam swatmanam upalakshaya. Therefore, perceive your own self of the nature of pure consciousness, which is the residue existing after the renunciation of mere sankalpa, will or imagination.
So, what is it that we need to do? Withdraw from our awareness, our attention, everything that is knowable. Through intense renunciation and detachment, letting go of every idea of self, everything that is experienceable. And the mind is made as pure as you can get. See if you can notice the space between thoughts. And with the attentive faculty introverted, who is it who knows the thoughts and the space between? And again, you will never see yourself as an object. Yet, you are absolutely knowable. In fact, you're known all the time. Then when the mind returns, it goes, oh, I get it. There's nothing there. Again, this is called reflection on that direct experience. Many times in class, I've had people do things like rub your hands together. Okay, the instrument for the direct experience of hand rubbing is hands. Now we're going to do another process called reflection. When you rubbed your hands together, was it motion or stasis motion? Was it warm or cool? It was warm. What did we do? That's another process that is done in the intellect where I reflect on a direct experience. Now, when it comes to yourself, unlike hand rubbing, it doesn't begin and end. It is not objectively known, yet it is always there and evident. You can't rub your hands with your intellect. Likewise, the intellect does not know the self. That's it. The mind disappears. The mind comes back. It reflects on the direct experience. Another one I do all the time. Bring your attention to the sensation of the waistband of your trousers on your waist, on your skin. We didn't create it. We didn't achieve it. We just paid attention to something that's been going on since put your pants on this morning. The direct experience is the waistband of your trousers on your skin. But if I turn the attentive faculty of mind on it, I can realize, oh, I've lost weight. These pants are kind of loose. Oh, my game makes a little time. It's wool, it's itchy. I was exercising, it's sweating. Reflect on it. That's what the mind can do. We want the mind to reflect on I-ing, which you're always doing. Next one.
Bhasakam. न मोक्षो न भसक पृष्ठे न पाताले न भूतले संकल्पवर्जनात् शुद्ध स्वरूपस्य प्रथैव सः. I think I may have lost. Okay, I think I missed one. Evam sakrilalakshite. Evam sakrilalakshite tu. Yascitam tadalakshanat. Ajnanam sarva samsara. Karanam tad viliyate. On account of not perceiving what is apparently existing, namely the body and other objects, when pure consciousness is perceived once in this manner, that ignorance, which is the cause of the entire course of worldly life, vanishes.
So essentially what we're saying is, even if only for a moment, you're able to withdraw attention from the phenomenal objects and the body itself, and you see the no-thingness of I, even if ignorance returns, you remember it. Even if it happens just once. It's transformative. That's not the end of the journey. Then we need to get sthita prajna, steady wisdom. Or another way I like to phrase it is, finally you have something real with which to work. At this point, it's just been faith. Any thoughts on this?
Jim, I have a question related to this. It might seem a little tangential, but it is something which occurred to me just now. So in effect, I mean, we're saying two things. One is that you are different from what you experience. And the second is that you are, or I am, the space in which all of these things appear. So what or how is the connection between this realization and God with form?
God with form is superstition. Drop it. God with form is given to those who are identified with the body. God with a form is as real as your ego. When you drop the ego, you drop God with a form.
Okay, then can I also, I mean, what about God with an intention? For example, when we say a benevolent universe, there's a sort of intention implied to the universe, right?
Let's go back to the paradigm we get in Mandukya. In Mandukya Upanishad, we have microcosm, macrocosm. Microcosm, physical body. Macrocosm, Jagat, the phenomenal universe. Microcosm, subtle body, thoughts and feelings. Macrocosm, total mind, Hiranyagarbha. Microcosm, my vasanas, my karana sharira, my causal body. Macrocosm, Ishvara. You can put any face on Ishvara you want. Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Ganesh. Doesn't matter. At the core of my being is aham, I. That witnessing consciousness, that pure awareness, that prakasha. And the ground of being of the entire universe is consciousness. Prajnanam Brahma. Brahman is consciousness. Now, that witnessing consciousness that's at the core of your being, and that universal consciousness that's the ground of the entire universe, they are the same. Now, this body, mind, and causal body is fundamentally sankalpa. The entire creation, the total mind, and Ishvara is Maya. Essentially just mind, all of it. So when we talk about a beneficent universe that conspires for our well-being, that is a teaching for those who think they're a person and they're in the world.
Okay, back to form
If
then.
you've dropped your mind, do you see a world here? I don't see a world. I see a light show, but I don't see a world. Can you catch the difference?
Yeah. They're all
And-
fundamentally connected with personhood, is what you're saying.
Yes, yes. And what Swamiji used to say is, if you are identified with the body, then by all means hang on to the feet of the Lord. Because what keeps that all in place is the fear, the control issues, the selfishness, which is the fruit of my spiritual ignorance. And if I can let go of the control issues, if I can let go of the fear, if I can surrender to Ishvara, that helps loosen the grip of egoism. That's why it's useful. Is that helpful?
Yes, Jim. Thank you. That is useful.
Very good question. Very good question. We always have to be clear about from what level we're talking. And in Gita, Krishna is very clear. He says this knowledge will make you master of this world and the beyond. So we get a teaching for our vyavahara, doing business in this world, how to do it intelligently. And then we also get the teaching, what world? Well, there's no world here. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. See a world? I only see Brahman. Very good question. All right. Next verse.
Na moksho na bhasak prishte na patale na bhutale sankalpa varjana shuddha swarupasya prathaivasah. Liberation does not exist on the other side of the sky, nor in the netherworld, nor on the surface of the earth. It is only the appearance or realization of the pure natural state of oneself on account of the renunciation of sankalpa, will, or imagination.
Yes. What is liberation? Liberation is the direct experience of myself as Brahman. The mark of the woman of realization is she knows she's Brahman. And in that realization, it's not, oh, I'm free. I don't have to come back anymore. No more birth for me. Nor is it, oh, I'm a powerful Mahatma now. Come touch my feet and give me your money. No. It's, oh, I was never born in the first place. I have always been free. I just had this weird dream called egoism. How could I not see the most obvious thing in all of existence? Aham Brahmasmi. How could I have missed it? Doesn't make you feel smart, makes you feel stupid. How could I have missed it? The stupid, stupid mind. None of that touches me. And it's not, I know I'm Brahman, but Puneet, he's a jerk. No. You realize the self in you. You realize the self in everything. And then there's this puppet called the body, mind, intellect, seemingly acting out its story, the leela, the drama. But nobody's self is ever touched. In second chapter of the Gita, when the teaching begins, it's with verse 11. And Krishna says, you grieve for whom you should not grieve, though you speak words of wisdom. The wise grieve neither for the living nor the dead. It's hard teaching for someone who just lost their mother or father or spouse. But what Krishna is saying is nobody dies. Nobody was ever even really born. In Gita, Krishna will use this wonderful word, Purushottama, Uttama Purusha. Purusha means person. What is it that makes you you? Well, I'm a sensitive being. Be nice. But what does it mean to be you? Conscious living being. You're not your body. You're not your feelings. You're not your thoughts. You are alive. You are Baba, being. And that is unborn, unchanging, and amritam. Wonderful word. Two meanings. Immortal, but also All right, one more.
Sasvarupatmakatvattu na praptasyat kadachana kevalam mohamatrasya nirasena kritarthata. But on account of its being one's natural state, it cannot be unattained at any time. By the removal of mere delusion, there is attainment of one's object.
Yes. So you are not attainable. What we do is realize something we already. So we use a method of distillation. We remove from our attention everything that's removable. What remains is just me. And again, if you think you have a quality, who knows the quality? I do. You're not the quality. Just in here today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. What verse are we on for next week?
20.
Chapter 18, verse 20. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Ganesh, for chanting.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Bye bye.